I'm working on my 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo with a 4-liter straight 6 motor, and I have a new problem. Never had a problem with this motor running. I never drove this car full time until just the last couple of years, and it was just my backup car, but now it is my full-time car for the most part. And I had an issue. The PCV hose popped off the other day when I went to the store, and I drove it like that till I got home. I heard the vacuum leak. When I got home, I left the motor running, got out, looked for the vacuum leak, found it, plugged the hose back in. The motor settled down a little bit. You know, when you get a vacuum leak, the motor will speed up a little. Anyway, when I tried to start the car the next morning to go to work, it just acted all kind of crazy, and it wouldn't start up and run. And so I just left it and went and got in another car and went to work. All of my scanners, I don't have very many because they cost an awful lot of money, and I don't know how to use a lot of what's in them, because when I was a mechanic, I went to school back in the late 70s, and they didn't have computerized cars back then. We had electronic ignition, but that was it. And so all through the 80s when I was working on cars, the ones I worked on were built in the 60s and 70s. And cars with these problems, these computer-related problems, went to the dealer. We didn't get them in private shops. But anyway, my scanners will not find this problem. They will not get into this motor and get me any details. I cannot find my fuel trim on this motor. I cannot find my ignition. I can't get to that stuff with the scanners that I have. So I can't check spark plug wires because it doesn't have any. This rail right here underneath these heater hoses is my coil. There's 3 coils. One back there, here, and here, and it's all one big assembly. I did buy a new one, and I bought new spark plugs, and that's where I'm going to start. Military fighter jets flying over, flying low. I don't know why, but that's what that noise was. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm going to change this coil pack, change the spark plugs. I'm going to change the valve cover gasket. I can only guess. I can't know for sure that that's what's wrong. But the first step I'm going to do is make sure I don't have since I got a serious miss. It runs now, but I got a dead miss. And so I can drive it, but it shakes when it's parked, when it's at a stoplight. I'm going to jump this starter here, and then you can listen to the compression. That's the first thing I did, make sure my compression is good. So you jump the starter and you listen to the level of the strain on the starter, and it should sound the same on every cylinder, and it does. I'll do it again here. Okay, we got good compression, good level compression on all the cylinders. So the next step is to go on ahead and take this coil off. But since I'm going to change the valve cover gasket, I'm going to take the valve cover gasket off first and change that, and then I'll do the coil after I change the valve cover gasket. So that'll be another part of the video, and we'll see if this coil set and spark plugs is my problem. If it's not, then it might be in my injectors. I don't know. I guess I better let you guys hear what the motor sounds like. No check engine lights, nothing like that. It's running a lot better than it was that first day. Listen to the exhaust. think miss. Sounds like one cylinder, but it could be two. Put it in gear and it's a lot worse. I guess you can hear that, I don't know. Well, the spark plug finally got to where I can get those out. The electrode in the middle is gone. Well, it's not gone, but it's burned way down, and 35 thousandths gap it calls for. So you see where we're at there. I'm gonna gap these new ones and put them in. So that could very well be part of the issue. Here they are in a row. You saw the first one. The second one, if you look at the ground electrode, is just about gone. It's paper thin at the end, and so is the next one. So that's number 5, and number 4. Number 3 is almost the same as the number 6 was, and the same as number 1. Number 2 is wet and dark, and I'm thinking maybe that coil went out, and it's why that thing got like that, since I've ran it a few miles since it started acting up. So this engine also has like a head gasket leak that eats antifreeze, but you can't see it eating it. There's never any steam. It's just once every couple or 3 months you gotta add a little bit of antifreeze to it. It's not worth doing a head gasket on. You just throw some antifreeze in every once in a while. I don't think that has anything to do with this plug looking wet and dark, because normally when you have an antifreeze leak like that, it actually cleans the plug. So anyway, that might be all. Maybe I do have a bad coil, and I don't know what all of this. I think all this extra rust on this one and this dirt down here, I think that's from oil. That's why I'm doing a valve cover gasket, because I've got oil running down the side of the motor from the head up there. It's running, and it's running good for what it is, for as old as it is. We got the valve cover gasket done. That was a 10 times harder job than the coil pack. I broke the detent cable that goes on the throttle. I'll have to, it's nighttime now. I'm going to go under there tomorrow and measure the length of this, because the local parts store for some reason couldn't find one. At least the one store that I went to, another one might have it, but I looked on Rock Auto Parts or whatever it's called on internet, and they've got them. They got 2 different sizes for this car, so I got to measure it and see which one it is. Back here to the exhaust. It's smooth, it's not popping anymore. It's running on all 6 cylinders now, so it was the coil.